the 2012 Cowboys Classic. You are looking live at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Defending national champion Alabama battles Michigan and quarterback Denard Robinson, one of the most electric stars in college football. A standing room only crowd awaits this early season showdown on Saturday Night Football. Welcome, everybody. We're Kirk Street. I'm Brent Musburger. This, of course, is our 7th season of Saturday Night Football. Herbie, what great memories we've had.
Some unbelievable memories behind us, and already watching these first couple days of college football. 2012 is going to be a really, really interesting year.
Now, the last time everybody was with us, Alabama was wrapping up a national championship with a shutout in New Orleans. But 4 of those defensive stars, top 35 picks in the NFL, that is a whole lot of talent being drained.
Well, it's a lot of talent on that side of the ball. On the offensive side, the one thing they have coming back is the quarterback, AJ McCarron, a veteran now after taking them to the national championship. A quarterback that comes into this game, I think, with a great deal of confidence. If you're Michigan, you're breaking in some new personnel up front. The defensive side, they're going to have to overcommit some bodies. I think AJ McCarron may find himself in a similar situation with some one-on-one opportunities off a play-action pass in this game for some big plays through the air.
Herbie, as you know, Michigan made news late in the week with the suspension of their leading rusher from a year ago, Fitzgerald Toussaint. Now, what impact will that have on the Wolverines?
Well, it's big because Denard Robinson wants to be able to play in a game where he can take some of the pressure off of himself. Toussaint became that player last year. When you take him out of this game, Thomas Rawls will more than likely get most of the carries. More of a physical back. Not as quick and nimble as what you might see from Toussaint, but he has an ability to run into the teeth of this Alabama defense. Alabama's goal today is make anybody beat you, but number 16, Denard Robinson. See if Rawls and the passing game have what it takes to compete with one of the best defenses in the country.
Now, the third member of our team is Heather Cox. She'll be with us all season long on ESPN Saturday Night Football. And Heather, it was Michigan making the news late in the build-up to this game, wasn't it?
Indeed, Brent. After much speculation, it was finally revealed just yesterday. Brady Hoke coming out and saying that he was suspending star running back Fitz Toussaint as well as defensive end Frank Clark for this game. Now, Brady Hoke actually told the 2 players a week ago that they wouldn't be making the trip, but added if the news gets out to the team or he went outside the team, he would add another game to that suspension. And Brent, it's been a challenging off-the-field time for this program. It's dealt with 6 arrests this year. So Brady Hoke wants to make sure his no-tolerance message is heard loud and clear.
And across the way, Heather, Nick Saban's message, do your job. In other words, if you do your job, the big picture will take care of itself. The coaches from Alabama led up to this game with the Little Hoosiers. As you see the series history, not much of it. 3 bowl games. Jamie Morris of the Wolverines erupting for 234 yards and 88. And then that Outback Bowl. Gene Stallings, the honorary captain of Alabama tonight, finishing his great career by winning the Outback Bowl. And then that classic Orange Bowl in 2000. Michigan 35, Alabama 34. Overtime. So we are set to go. Matt Weil will put it on the tee, and remember with the rule change, he'll put it on the 35-yard line. D. Milner will go back deep. He's standing in the Bama end zone. Christian Jones alongside him. Underway in Arlington. Booming kickoff out of the end zone, out on the 25-yard line. Remember, and not the 20. That's a rule change. And so here comes the junior quarterback from Mobile, Alabama, AJ McCarron.
What a difference a year makes. Last year he was trying to prove himself in the opener. Now he's returning after winning a national championship. 6'4", 210 pounds. Comes into this game with a great deal of confidence and an understanding that he can make the plays to help this offense.
You look behind him and you say, where is Trent Richardson? But Eddie Lacy is a very capable runner, and he's lined up directly behind him, number 42. 3 wide. Here comes Lacy, and Michigan's interior line met him with emphasis. And Herbie, let's take a look now at the Avis Impact players for the Crimson Tide.
We talked about McCarron. You touched on Eddie Lacy, and you're also going to see a couple other backs eventually play, but they have to replace Trent Richardson. Kevin Norwood, who had an impressive game in a national championship against LSU, leads a great group with great depth of receivers, and C.J. Mosley lines up on the other side as an athlete to be able to slow down Denard Robinson.
Herbie, Anthony Steen just took himself out of the game, and Chad Lindsey is in at right guard. Steen had an equipment problem. He didn't need assistance. Passing down coming up here for A.J. McCarron early. Snaps it off toward Lacy, and it's incomplete.
Right away, Michigan, because they held up there on 1st and 10, got McCarron into somewhat of an obvious passing situation. And Greg Madison, we've seen Greg Madison around for a long time. There he is, very, very aggressive. And that time he brought pressure, got into the face there of McCarron, and Eddie Lacy out in the flat trying to make a play. But Michigan's defense playing with a lot of energy right now.
Christian Jones is the slot man to the left. Outside him is Kevin Norwood. McCarron under pressure. This is a huge defensive series to open this game for the Wolverines.
Brent, you and I talking before the game said, when you're Michigan and you're a proud program and you hear all the negativity about, boy, can Michigan hang in a game like this, you know it's going to create energy. Here, Michigan sits back, only rushes 4. They play zone, and they still got pressure on A.J. McCarron and forced him to throw the football away before he was ready.
There's Jeremy Gallon. Michigan could wind up with terrific field position on their first possession. Cody Mandel set to punt. Drives it. It's a beautiful punt. Fair catch at the 21. Terrific punt by Mandel. And so now the electric one after that 52-yard punt. Denard Robinson, the senior from Deerfield Beach, Florida.
Can do so many things. Threw the ball for over 2,000 yards. You can see 1,176 yards on the ground. And tonight, Brent, with Fitzgerald Toussaint out, more pressure on him to deliver, not just creating and running, but he's going to have to make some throws with his arm against this Alabama defense. He's going to be able to have to throw the ball.
They open with 2 backs, Vincent Smith and Stephen Hopkins. Play action, throw on first down, and the converted quarterback, Devin Gardner, could not hang on.
To see the aggressive attitude from Michigan on 1st and 10, and Gardner, as you said, has switched out to receiver, but a heck of a play there by Dean Milner to lay out and get a hand on the ball to knock it away from Gardner.
Herbie, Alabama opens with the nickel look. Ha-ha Clinton. Dix was back there at the safety position. You can see him right now, the single safety. Now they go back to 2 deep. Gallon's your motion receiver for the Wolverines. Again putting it up. And again, Devin Smith complete. And it will be spotted out of bounds at the 31-yard line. So let's take a look at the Avis Impact players, Herbie, for the Wolverines.
Well, of course, it starts with Denard Robinson. He has got to be able to make plays, and he's off to a good start. Thomas Rawls, we touched on him, and stepping in for Fitzgerald Toussaint, more of a power back. Roy Roundtree, number 21. He was 12 last year. He switches to Desmond Howard's number 21. He's excited to have a chance to make plays for this offense. He'll have to make plays tonight. Jordan Kovacs, the captain, former walk-on on the defensive side, is kind of the quarterback of the defense, making the calls.
Now it is 3rd and a bunch, and this is where Saban's D loves to tee up. On a release, incomplete, and he had Roundtree open.
He actually was able to break free. You're right. When it's 3rd down and long, I thought we might have seen a draw or a screen. He rolled away from the pressure, and Roundtree actually broke away from the defenders, got behind him. If he put that ball on the money, that's a 1st down.
Over here is Will Hogrup. Now, the coaches feel that when he's got his mind set on something, he's a tremendous punter. But remember, he had some difficulty against Virginia Tech. So let's see here. Jones is back deep. And this time a beautiful punt over Jones's head to the 15-yard line. And a return to the 38-yard line where he's met. But the special teams coaches for the Wolverines are happy with that 62-yard punt. But the Bama coaches are happy with that 18-yard return. Well, AJ McCarron underwent off-season shoulder surgery. That shoulder popped out in an SEC game against Arkansas. And the next play, he threw a touchdown after a fake field goal. Lacey, the running back. And a much better result as they start the 2nd series here, Herbie, than the 1st series. And this is a big loss for the Wolverines. Blake Countess, the corner, replaced by Courtney Avery.
A veteran who stepped in last year for Trey Woolfolk and did a really good job. Very reliable, consistent corner. You can see the anguish on his face as he's being looked at there by the training staff from Michigan. That was a big 1st down from Alabama. A little bit more what they're accustomed to.
Kelly Johnson is now the H-back on the field. They continue to run Lacey, and he extends for the 1st down near midfield.
Coming into this game, I think everybody, even though Trent Richardson's no longer in the lineup, we've seen enough of Eddie Lacy, and we've heard enough about TJ Yeldon to think that this running game with this offensive line is going to be a real strength. And with Michigan replacing 3 senior defensive linemen who had 87 career starts with 3 players who have 0 career starts, you would think there's a big mismatch up front with Bama against this Michigan defensive line, and Bama's challenging that here early.
There's a young man in this game that Bama folks have been waiting to see. TJ Yeldon. Play fake to him. McCarron on the roll, throws complete to the 43-yard line, and that was to Kenny Bell.
I think Michigan was thinking what you and I were thinking. There's the freshman. They're going to give it to him. Little play action. The corner plays off. Easy throw for AJ McCarron. Remember, 1st and 10, more often than not, the best time for the play action pass, and the soft corner there. Very easy throw there for McCarron and Kenny Bell.
The coaches attacked the spot where Countess played. They went after Avery early. McCarron again, play action, coming back again, and Bell, and they go right back to the same spot. This time, instead of working the sideline, they had him run the quick post, and J.T. Floyd caught up with him after a 19-yard gain.
Well, this is the versatility of this offense. Williams was actually flanked way to the outside, the tight end, to occupy the corner, and it gave him a nice crease back to the middle. The corner this time, J.T. Floyd, is late to get there, and it's because he was occupied with the tight end Williams to the outside, and a great throw in rhythm from A.J. McCarron.
And Herbie, now they're trying. Raymond Taylor has had a couple of plays in that secondary. And here is Yeldon, the freshman. Look out to the 15, and a 1st and 10 Bama. That was an electric burst through that hole. 14 yards. Herbie, we can see why they love this freshman.
Yeah, just a different feel from Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy's a power back, and when Yeldon gets the football, you can see how quick he is and how quickly he's able to accelerate upfield. Bama always likes to have a tandem of backs. They have for the last 3 or 4 years. You got a feeling this year Lacy and Yeldon could be that tandem.
From Daphne, Alabama, right outside Mobile. Coming to the right side. Patient, picks his way, and he's to the 9. They may not have a Richardson, but they've got a Yeldon, and he could be growing up right before our eyes here tonight.
The other thing you're seeing is the offensive line begin to assert themselves. Last couple plays, simple zone plays where they're just occupying a little bit of space and trying to let the back to find the crease. He's shown some patience here the last 2 plays. When he sees his hole, he has that acceleration vision to go with it.
Charleston Fowler is the lead back in front of the freshman. Yeldon, middle. Jones blows it open. And he's to the 5-yard line. I want to go back and talk about this young man, T.J. Yeldon, 6'2", 216. Herbie, look at the high school career at Daphne. 6,155 yards and 73 touchdowns. Think about those numbers.
Think about trying to tackle him in high school. 6'2", 215 pounds. He actually enrolled in January to get more familiar with the offense and to be able to get adjusted before he went out here and had a chance to play.
And now that they get closer to the end zone with a 1st and goal, they'll bring the powerful Eddie Lacy back into the game. Going to throw for it. Got it. Touchdown. They go to the big tight end. Michael Williams with the first touchdown of this game.
This is the different wrinkle you're going to see from Alabama this year. Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, is aggressive when they get inside that 10-yard line. He came over from Washington. As soon as they got inside the 10, 1st and 10, play action, slip the tight end to the outside. That's something a little bit different from Bama than in the past.
So the extra point is added by Jeremy Shelley, wearing number 5. Remember, he kicked 5 field goals against LSU in that championship game. Bama strikes first. Herbie, it wouldn't be a Michigan football game without the band, but for a while they weren't coming. But when you're getting $4.5 million to come down for a football game, you gotta find some cash for this great band.
You gotta bring the band down,
absolutely.
Right? And they're looking for a reason to get excited here. Maybe Denard can fire him up here.
Dennis Norfleet, the freshman, is standing back on the 1-yard line for the Wolverines, and they're going to give him a crack from the 5. This is a freshman coming out with a burst. Now to around the 30-yard line, Herbie. And Herbie, Thomas Rawls is on the field. He's got his first carry, and he is stopped at the 29. Has struck first and leads it by 7. 2nd and 10. You see that big Hopkins is there to the left of Denard. Denard's got it high and incomplete. Jeremy Gallen, the 5'8" receiver, was covered by tough Robert Lester. Lester, the safety, is the only returning member of Nick Saban's secondary, and he's a dandy. He thought too, Herbie, about going to the National Football League.
And right now with Barron no longer playing and in the NFL and Hightower in the NFL, really the leadership is turned over to Robert Lester and Nico Johnson along with Damian Square. The baton has been handed to them to provide that guidance for the rest of these newer players.
They'll try to keep Denard in that pocket for as long as they can. He's got Gardner and could not hold on, and the Wolverines are forced to punt again. That was D. Milner on Devin Gardner.
Denard Robinson right now is trying to find his rhythm and trying to be accurate. He understands on 3rd down Bama's going to bring an exotic pressure. He actually stays in that pocket and delivers the football on his front foot, something he has worked very hard on. Last year throwing a lot off his back foot. He just threw it behind Gardner.
Christian Jones, remember, he was driven back by Hogrup on that first punt. Fields this one on the 22-yard line, looking for a seam, and he's brought down at the 33-yard line. So when you come back, Bama will have the ball with their 7-point lead. Eddie Lacy back in as the running back behind AJ McCarron for Bama. Going to throw on 1st down. Flush from the pocket and throws it away. Pressure from the Michigan front that time on McCarron. Jake Ryan, the linebacker, and he's a good one.
And A.J. McCarron that time recognized the matchup that he wanted to get the ball to, and as Christian Jones lined up against the safety, Thomas Gordon. Michigan playing nickel with 5 defensive backs. He was locked in on his receiver, and because of the great coverage, that's what allowed Michigan that time to be able to get the pressure on McCarron.
Second down and 10. Fowler is now the running back behind McCarron. And they'll run the big fella. He breaks the daylight. Out to midfield. Gordon forced to make the stop, but what a burst by the junior from Mobile. Jalston Fowler for 26.
And Brent, Anthony Steen got his equipment fixed because he's pushing people all over the field. The right guard that time opened it up, and what great vision by the big man that time. A little stutter step into the hole and finds a little bit more of a seam to the backside and picks up first down yardage.
So they'll keep Fowler in that I-back spot. They continue to throw on first down. Sideline, got him open. DeAndre White, touchdown Bama. 51 yards, and folks, the Tide rolling early.
Well, play action on 1st and 10. A double move here by White, outside and up. And the corner who has stepped in for Countess, Courtney Avery, the junior, slips. White gets downfield, an easy throw that time. McCarron makes it look so easy when he has his man where he wants him.
Nick Saban showing you why he coaches coaches. As soon as the starting corner comes out, the extra point is good. But as soon as the starting corner comes out, Saban smelled blood in the water and went after that spot. $14-0 in the first quarter. Alabama leads by 2 touchdowns. Cade Foster with the ball on the tee here in Texas Stadium. Here comes Norfleet again from the goal line. The freshman. Looks like he has a burst to the 23-yard line. Wolverines averaging less than 2 yards a play here so far. Play action. High and incomplete. And it will be second and long, and again trying to hit Devin Gardner, the converted quarterback.
Here's another example where they're not necessarily forcing him out of the pocket. They're not necessarily sacking him. But look in the backfield, Denard Robinson. He feels that off to his right. He feels Dixon closing in on him as he got around Schofield. Just enough to be able to affect his accuracy. When a quarterback starts to sense and feel the pressure that's getting to him, he's not zeroing in on the read downfield and the accurate throw downfield. And right now, this Bama defense is doing an outstanding job of having an impact on Denard Robinson feeling comfortable in the pocket.
Going down the right sideline, the receiver, it's intercepted. Picked off at the 45 by Milner. 40, 35, 30. Milner breaks the daylight. They send one star after another to the NFL. They just reload.
And this is one of their top returning players. He's played well all night. D. Milner actually takes the receiver and pushes him out of bounds. Roy Roundtree feels how physical Milner is at 6'1", 200 pounds. He just threw him out of bounds. And then not only does he make the interception, but he's thinking about trying to take it to the house.
And Denard Robinson is shaken up. He came to the sideline with an injury after throwing that tackle. So Fowler comes in as the running back. McCarron is in the gun. And Bama looking to strike again here in the opening quarter. One-on-one. End zone incomplete. Overthrew Kenny Bell.
So there's the difference in AJ McCarron. We'll get back to that in a second. You can see Denard Robinson just throw his shoulder. More of a frustration tackle. That's right on his throwing shoulder, trying to make a tackle. Out of frustration, throwing his body into the defensive back who actually bounced off of him.
The trainers down there with the young man may have suffered a shoulder injury here in the first quarter against Bama after an interception. Fowler, the running back, picks his way. And let's go quickly now to Heather Cox.
Brent, as Denard Robinson came over to the bench, he called over Devin Gardner, the backup quarterback and also the wide receiver. No official word on whether or not Denard can play, but certainly an indication based on the fact that he called Devin his backup over. Now, Devin's been taking about half his splits at practice, his reps at practice this week at receiver, and half at quarterback. We'll see when they get the ball back who goes in.
And you know, they may choose the youngster who, number 8, is also warming up down there. And Eddie Lacy checks in as the Bama running back. Touchdown, Alabama.
What a great job of blocking the fullback Fowler, the left tackle, the young star, Quanjo, pushing people around, and Eddie Lacy showing that he gets inside that 10-yard line. He is the back that they want to get the football to. They even did last year when they had Trent Richardson, but a great block by Fowler and Quanjo to open that up. They get you, Brent, and they start to kill your will because of how physical they can be. Great job. I'll tell you, Fowler is a valuable commodity this year. Lines up at fullback. They'll put him at H-back. That time he takes on Kenny Dimmons, the middle linebacker from Michigan, who led the team in tackles a year ago. Opens that hole up for Eddie Lacy.
Fleet from the 5. At the 26 is down. Throws. Gallen complete. Gallen to the 35-yard line.
I watched him throw that football, and it just didn't look like he was comfortable with letting go of the ball. This is going to be an injury that's probably going to be bothering him. He hesitated for a second, but you can see even the follow-through. He's kind of laboring a little bit there on his throw.
End of the first quarter. Alabama puts 3 touchdowns on the board against the Wolverines. And this presentation of Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows, will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Well, Herbie, you can see in the yardage disparity right now, 152 to 34. Bama has really jumped all over the Wolverines.
And they have been averaging their average drive starting close to midfield, right around midfield, right at their own 45. And Michigan seems like they've been at their own end of the field, and they can't get anything established. Let's see if that helps Denard here. But I think they've got to still think about running him, using that option game. And I know with that shoulder, it's a concern, but they're going to have to do something in the running game. They're going to have to try to do something besides these backs.
Second down. Smith hit in the backfield to follow up on what Herbie said. Everybody take a look at the talent that was lost. 3 first-round draft choices off the defense, plus running back Trent Richardson.
He had Upshaw in there, who could have been a first-rounder. Chapman was a great player. Menzie. I mean, this defense, I think that's not just a question tonight, but this year. They have Arkansas in a couple weeks in Fayetteville. Everybody wants to know, how will this defense, with some new faces, how will they be able to grow and develop? And they're off to a pretty good start in the first half of the opener. Comes to blitz off to the left here.
3rd down and 10. Throwing long, incomplete. And it will be 4th down. That's D. Milner again, who made that interception.
Brent, I'm not going to say that this guy is the best corner, but I'm going to tell you what. He's living up to the high standard that Nick Saban has for his defensive backs. Again, he already had the interception. He is 6'1", 200 pounds. He has the size, amazing quickness. And today, they're putting him into the boundary. Usually they're right and left, but because he's such a good tackler in the run game, this time, today, in this game, they've decided to put him into the boundary so he can help out in run support.
Hargrove punting again. And Jones will field this one at about the 18-yard line. And Jones still battling now to the 33-yard line. A tough night so far for Denard Robinson and the Wolverines. Can they find some magic? The Outland Trophy winner a year ago, Barrett Jones, is now eyeing the Remington Trophy as the top center. Remember, he was the left tackle a year ago. Only one player, Greg Esslinger, in 2005 from Minnesota, has won both the Outland and the Remington the same year. And here comes the freshman Yeldon, breaking the tackle. First down, running to daylight, midfield, 40, 35, 30, stumbles. Oh, my. Oh, my. What do we have here?
Well, the thing that stood out to me, I talked about his acceleration. Brent, he broke 3 tackles on this play. It's well blocked. Nice hole. There's an arm tackle. There's an arm tackle. There's an arm tackle. This guy is not just fast. He's going to run through those arm tackles.
TJ Yeldon checks back in. He's a good receiver. Here he comes. Screen pass down the sideline. Got an alley. And he's to the 8-yard line. Thomas Gordon makes the stop for the Wolverines.
How about the call here, Brent, on 3rd and long? Kovacs, linebacker Ross is coming on the blitz. This is perfectly timed with Michigan bringing pressure, and a veteran quarterback like McCarron sees the whole thing develop, tosses it over to his young freshman running back, and there's nobody left because of the blitz. An easy first down once McCarron recognized the pressure.
Doug Nussmeier calling the plays for Bama. He replaced Jim McElwain, who's now the head coach at Colorado State. In the red zone now for McCarron. And here's the handoff, and the freshman to the 5-yard line. So they're trying to get TJ Yeldon his first score of the game. Let's go back to Nussmeier. For 3 years, Herbie, he was out of Washington. Now remember, Jake Locker was one of his quarterbacks. But without Locker last year, the Huskies scored 57 touchdowns and 431 points. Saban knew what he was doing when he went out and hired Nussmeier as his offensive coordinator.
Sure
and there he is to the left. He said all of the Idaho passing game. Used to beat up on the Montana Colts.
Did he really? How about Alabama here? 2nd down and goal at the 5. 3 receivers. Shotgun from McCarron.
Lob one-on-one and incomplete. The receiver could not get open.
I'm just really impressed to see AJ McCarron and the command that he has right now of this offense. Just yesterday, I mean, think about this. A year ago, seems like yesterday, he was trying to get in here and show that he should be the quarterback over Phillip Sims. And I think from the Penn State game on last year in State College, he became the guy. But after the year he had, it's amazing what a year can do. And, of course, the success that he enjoyed allows him to play with such command now.
Eddie Lacy, the powerback, checks in for this 3rd and goal. McCarron in trouble, has to throw away. Smart move on his part. Wolverines were closing in, didn't want to take the loss, and so that will send in the hero from the national championship game in New Orleans. Jeremy Shelley, 5 field goals. How about that? They botched an extra point in that game. One of only 2 that they botched all of last year, but he comes away with 5 field goals.
Not a bad deal. Not a bad memory for him. McCarron's the holder here.
They switched it. AJ ran a fake field goal for a touchdown against Arkansas, but Nick would like to take a look at his field goal team this year. 24-0. Bama in complete command of this Cowboy Classic. Kate Foster with the ball on the tee. He's been a busy kickoff man tonight, and so too has the freshman return man, Dennis Norfleet, a redshirt freshman from Detroit, standing back on the Wolverine 2-yard line. From 2 yards deep, he's coming out. Got a seam. 30, 35. I think I saw a penalty flag. Let's check it, though, for a second. That's Ross. I believe it was guilty of the penalty. Being coached up on the sideline here by Brady Hoke.
Walk in the back. Receiving team, number 15.
Thomas Rawls in as the Michigan running back. Alabama's defense ready to try to tee him up here inside the 5. Play action. Borges going to throw out of the end zone. Great time. Goes down the sideline. Devin Gardner in the air, can't hang on.
They continue to throw the ball back into the boundary, which means there's number 28 again. You've got D. Milner, who's waiting back there, doesn't have help behind him with a safety, and actually Gardner does a decent job of separating himself, but you can see the recovery, the vision to find the ball, which is what Nick Saban and Kirby Smart work with their defensive backs on. Find the ball and be able to knock it away from the receiver. Nice job of high pointing by Gardner, but a better job by Milner to knock it away.
Second down. Play clock down to 4. Hanging ahead with Rawls. Got maybe a yard out of that, and now it's 3rd and long. Nico Johnson.
It's almost like against this running game with the 3-4, Bama isn't necessarily surging to get upfield. It's like they're building a fence. They're just building a wall on every running play, and there's nowhere for these backs or Denard Robinson to run because they can't get outside, and because these defensive linemen and linebackers are winning their gaps, there's just nowhere to run. Looks like Michigan's going to call a timeout here.
That would be their first timeout used here. Okay, Herbie, here's the Aflac question. Now, the 2 starting quarterbacks in that famous Orange Bowl.
That was a great game. Tom Brady
Yes,
for Michigan.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to roll with Andrew Zhao from Alabama.
Right, Herbie starts the season. Andrew Zhao starting for Alabama at quarterback. Let's take you back to that great Orange Bowl game into overtime. Tom Brady with the touchdown pass. Zhao answering with 1 for Alabama. And then it came down to the extra point, and it was missed in overtime. Michigan and Lloyd Carr with a huge 35-34 win down in the Orange Bowl of Miami. What a great, great football game that was, of course, this year, the Discover Orange Bowl. And then after that game, about a week later, the BCS National Championship game in Miami.
Now, do you remember who the real star of that Alabama offense was?
Yes, the running back, Alexander.
Yes. The bonus question.
Oh, I got a bonus question for you on that game. Here we go now. On 3rd down and 9. Into the middle, intercepted. Picked off. Touchdown, C.J. Mosley. Remember, he picked Jefferson in the BCS championship game.
Mosley is the most athletic linebacker that Alabama has. All he did here, Brent, is just read the eyes of Denard Robinson.
Shelley tacks up the extra point. 4.5 minutes left in the second quarter, and Herbie, Bama dominated.
Once they down that ball inside the 2-yard line, you wondered if something big might happen. Mosley's just right in the middle, and I want you to watch how he's just mirroring the quarterback, reads his eyes, moves a little to the left there, right into the passing lane. But Denard Robinson was so anxious on 3rd down to get the ball out of his hands that he telegraphed the pass back to the right.
Fielded again by Northfleet. About a yard inside the end zone. To the 25, Thomas Rawls. He's the running back for the Wolverines. Stop short of the 30-yard line.
What was your bonus question on that?
The bonus question, who was the MVP of that Orange Bowl game? It was not Tom Brady.
Anthony Thomas, maybe?
No, it was David Terrell,
David
the
Terrell.
wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good Michigan team.
It was
they could
a
have used a few of those boys out here tonight.
Oh, yeah. Brady and that Patriot offensive line would help.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Bama looks good on this side of the ball. All these new faces.
Look at Bama shifting there. Second down, 7 yards to go. Denard is back again to pass. Going to throw it deep. Got Gallen open. Put it in his hands. Gallen toward the end zone, just short of it. down at the 1-yard line. Sunseri finally bringing him down, but it's a 71-yard gain and a little bit of Robinson magic here.
He had time to throw, and this time he shows you what kind of arm strength he has. Gallen, I think, pound for pound, could be the best receiver on this Michigan roster. I'll tell you, he really aired that out. I think the Alabama defense felt that they were in position. I don't think they thought he could throw the football this far. I mean, he threw that ball about 55 or 60 yards downfield. The junior college corner, Blue, just kind of tries to catch up with Gallen, but that ball is perfectly thrown over his shoulder.
Roy Roundtree, very quiet, is off to the left of the formation. Denard picks his way, cuts back toward the end zone, waiting for the signal. Touchdown, Michigan.
It took an amazing effort by Denard Robinson to be able to pull this play off. You don't see very many people run the football in against an Alabama defense inside the 10-yard line. You just don't see it. He got the defense flowing so fast that he was able to cut back against the defense and against their speed and somehow squirm his way to the goal line to get that touchdown.
So here's the kicker from West Palm Beach, played at Cardinal Newman High School, Brendan Gibbons. Left foots it. And it is 31-7, and a little life here for the Wolverines and Denard Robinson. So AJ McCarron and the defending national champion Alabama Crimson Tide roll into the locker room at halftime with a 31-7 lead for Coach Nick Saban. Bama dominating. And let's go to Heather Cox with Coach.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, you came into the game with a lot of new faces on defense. How have you been able to contain Michigan's running game?
Well, I think the guys are playing good. They're doing a good job of executing the game plan. We gave up a big play, the last time we were in there, which, this guy's capable of making big plays. This game is far from over. We need to play for 60 minutes. We got to do a better job of holding the ball on offense, too.
Well, offensively, you do have 3 running backs that are making an impact. How does running back by committee help your offense?
Well, I don't think it's running back by committee. I think it's a lot of good players getting an opportunity to play. So, I don't know what's wrong with that.
It's all good. Thanks, Coach. Brent?
Thank you, Heather.
I don't think anybody said there's anything wrong with it. Got a lot of great
you
players.
gotta love it. Up 31-7. Alabama rolling. And stay tuned for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report with John Anderson and Jesse Palmer right after this. Welcome back to the Cowboys Classic from Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. 31-7, Alabama leading Michigan. Maybe 140 yards passing, 140 yards rushing. Alabama very balanced, as you pointed out, in that first half. But what about the Wolverines here in the second half?
They're going to get the ball here to start the second half. They're down big. It'd be interesting to find out how they plan to attack. The one thing you have to believe is that Alabama's entire game plan is to be able to keep Denard Robinson in the pocket when he throws. They're almost not even rushing the quarterback. They're just building a fence against the run game and just letting Denard Robinson throw from the pocket. And they want to see if anybody else can make a play to be able to beat him. It worked in the first half. Michigan has seen that. What I want to see is Denard Robinson come out here, keep fighting, which he will, throw the football, get the ball downfield. He's still going to have to mix in some run. It's just so hard to do against this defense.
It is indeed. And of course, as Coach Saban pointed out to Heather, it's a 60-minute game. Let's go down to Heather now.
On the flip side, I was able to talk to Brady Hoke, who unfortunately, guys, is very sick, has lost his voice, but had enough of a voice to tell me he's shocked they've only gained 20 yards on the ground. He said we've got to run better by blocking better. That's the key for us in the second half. We've also got to stop Bama's big plays. I asked about Denard Robinson's shoulder, and he said it's absolutely fine, hasn't received any treatment throughout the game, and will be the go-to quarterback in the second half.
And Heather, to follow that up, he threw a very good pass after that injury. And if you weren't with us, folks, and you missed how he was nicked, it was stopping a defensive back after an interception. He threw his shoulder into him. So here we go. Foster to kick it off. And the return man is Northleaf, and he has been busy. wide to the right, and he is down at about the 22 as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary with all the numbers in Bama's favor.
Well, is that balance? I mean, that's how you get it done in a first half, rushing and throwing the football. I think that's kept Michigan off balance defensively, and AJ McCarron has had a field day against the defense, 12 first downs, and we talked a lot about it. What can Michigan do against this front seven of Alabama? Is they're going to have to make some plays in a pass game.
I remember Coach told Heather he wanted to run the ball better. Devin Smith runs on first down to about the 25-yard line. Or Vincent Smith. Let me correct myself on the first name. Vincent Smith, the ball carrier.
Well, Vincent Smith, between he and Thomas Rawls, who are in for Fitzgerald Toussaint, he has a little bit more wiggle and a little bit more acceleration. Gives you at least a fighting chance. I think Thomas Rawls, from what we've seen from him, more of a power back, but he's not had any success. He has 4 carries tonight for just 6 yards against the Bama defensive speed.
Blitz fires off of it to that spot. Great pickup by Denard Robinson, and Dillio makes it out to the 40-yard line. That was a great read by Denard Robinson on the safety blitz.
Yeah, Sunseri came, prevented by Sunseri coming, and there's a void in the zone. I'll tell you what, Denard Robinson there had to get the ball out of his hands quickly because the seam is closing fast. Mosley from the inside, Blue from the outside. Great throw. Better timing that time from Denard and his receiver.
They're playing bump and run on Gardner, and they'll run the other way with Robinson. And not much doing as the Bama defense rides with it, and Nico Johnson makes the stop.
You know, that slow developing play where it's just an outside stretch play for the quarterback design run. He's waiting to find that crease, and then he tries to get upfield. A lot of times in the Big Ten, you're not going to have penetration. Against Alabama, see, he's waiting for this play to be able to develop. And by the time he's done waiting, the linebackers from Alabama have already closed in and caught up from behind to be able to make the play against him. Too slow developing against the speed of Bama's defense.
Play action, wide open, and he overthrows Gallen. Slipping out of the backfield, then he threw it just a little bit too far in front of him, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Alabama fans know about Adrian Hubbard, but SEC fans are going to get used to him. Number 42. He didn't sack Denard Robinson. He didn't pressure him. But his length, he's 6'6", 248 pounds, long arms, and just because of his length going up into the air to be able to try to knock the ball down, it forced Denard Robinson to throw the ball high, and he overthrew a wide open wide receiver.
They stack 3 to the right. And Denard runs out of it, but he is short of the first down as Bama comes up. Lester was coming in on the pressure.
They brought Lester, as you said, but it was a good job. Usually that's where Denard Robinson makes his plays on 3rd down. It's a broken play, and he's able to find a crease in a defensive pressure and then get upfield in a hurry. But that time you have D. Milner waiting for him, sitting at home, very disciplined, and able to make the tackle short of the first down.
He's been a good punter here tonight. Hangs it high. There's a fair catch. He's going to let this one go and hope it goes to the end zone. And it is in. It will come out on the 20. The rule change does not include punts into the end zone. 31-7. We'll be right back.
With the Stars All-Stars live premieres Monday, September 24th on ABC.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Herbie, I'm going to give you 3 games. Washington at LSU next week. Baton Rouge. Georgia at Missouri. SEC opener for Mizzou. Or Florida with the SEC opener against Texas A&M. Where are you going to send game day?
Where am I going to send game day, huh? 2 great choices there with the Missouri first SEC game and A&M's first SEC game.
Bama with a completion. And Norwood breaks away and turns it into a huge gain. What a great run.
Alabama is far from finished in this game, up 31-7. First possession of the second half. Play action pass going right after the safety. Thomas Gordon, who's out there one-on-one with Kevin Norwood. Kevin Norwood does not get enough credit. This is a guy who stepped up in the national championship game, made some big catches. Look at that stiff arm there against a linebacker, Desmond Morgan. One-on-one coverage against the safety against Kevin Norwood is a favorable matchup for AJ McCarron.
So Yeldon needs 6 more yards for 100. Battling for it. I believe he has it right now. I believe Yeldon has hit the century mark as Denard trots back out. Let us check in with Heather Cox.
Brent, Denard Robinson didn't go back to the locker room, actually was just taken back into the tunnel out of sight. He was evaluated by head athletic trainer Paul Schmidt. It was interesting. Denard sort of slouched against the wall and then tested his legs, did some high steps. As he came back out onto the field, Paul Schmidt told me he is cleared to play and has no ill effects from that hit.
That's good news, Heather. Meanwhile, Yeldon picked up 7. He now has 101. He's out of the game. Lacey is the running back. Just short of that first down they give to Lacey, who has stopped, and there's a helmet off down there, isn't there? There's a penalty on it. If that helmet is off, you have to leave for one play, and D. Hart will come in.
Heard so much from the Michigan staff about trying to protect Denard Robinson. Think about tonight on that interception. He made a tackle with his right shoulder. An effort to try to pick up a first down. He extends himself. He's battered and bruised tonight trying to lead this offense.
3rd down and 2. Hart, play action. McCarron rolls to the left and incomplete. Was dropping it off to Fowler, who had lined up in the fullback spot. He's lined up as both guy back and the fullback.
He got a little cute there with a little shuffle pass, just trying an effort just to try to get it out there, but he short-armed it. If he could have that back, he'd probably like to throw that, the shoulders turn, and make an accurate throw. But he tried to hurry it a little bit, get the ball out quickly to Fowler, and didn't work out.
So at first, the offense stayed on the field for the Tide with the ball at the 34, but instead, Nick wants Cade Foster onto the field. Remember, the quarterback now is the holder in this sequence. This would be a 51-yard attempt. Bangs it. Got the distance. Got it. So Alabama tacks on another field goal, and they lead by 27. Well, there's the trophy they were all playing for, the coach's trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. It'll be given to the winner of the 2013 Discover BCS Championship down in Miami. Norfleet has been busy, this time from the 3-yard line. Slammed down at the 12-yard line. Play action. Denard going to go down that far sideline. Gardner, and he's tripped. That's going to be interference on Sunseri. That's going to be 15 yards and an automatic first down.
Well, it's a slow developing play where Denard Robinson's sitting in that pocket, and he needs a lot of time.
Now, Nick was complaining the ball was not catchable.
That's right. And I think, and you look at the replay, I think that's what Sunseri is saying too. There's no way that this receiver has a chance. Gardner has a chance to get to the ball. That's why they picked it up.
And they do change it. And they say it was not catchable. So another one of the officials steps in and changes it.
Well, that's a good job by the crew getting together and talking about what they saw. Not only did he not have a chance, but the defensive back, Sunseri, had his head back looking to the football. And when a defensive back's looking at the football and there's incidental contact, he has every right to the football as much as that wide receiver does.
2nd down and 10. Here comes Smith, sweeping to the left. Down the sideline he goes. Crossing midfield. Boy, he walked the tightrope over there. I wasn't sure he could stay in bounds.
It's the first time we've seen a running back get out and have a chance to make a play. Really good block here by the big fullback, Hopkins, who does a good job of sealing the corner. Yeah, he holds on to his shoulder there maybe a little bit, gets away with it. But because he was able to seal that, it allowed the back to get to the outside of that block. And I think he was surprised himself that he was still in bounds, and he showed some pretty good speed down that sideline.
First down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Denard keeps it himself across the 45. It's second down now. Here's a play action. Rolls a running back. Goes downside. Got Gardner wide open. Got him. Touchdown, Michigan. Devin Gardner converted from quarterback to wide receiver. And that play really showed you why. He's got some speed.
He has size, he has speed, and the defensive back, who's had a great night, D. Milner, fell down in man-to-man coverage. So if you're wondering how did Gardner get so open, the best defensive back on Alabama's defense was isolated one-on-one, and he just slipped.
That's a 44-yard touchdown for Brady Hoke's Wolverines. And now trotting out is Gibbons. Tacks on the extra point. Gardner's first catch of the game, Harvey.
They've been trying to get the ball thrown downfield, and Gardner is right here. He's matched up one-on-one. One thing that he has is size, and this is a tough matchup for him because of how physical Milner is. But watch Milner go down right there. He looks back, turns his head back. Once he's on the ground, I'll tell you what, a good job. Great job by Denard Robinson seeing and not just locking into his receiver. He's looking downfield to Roundtree, and also Denard found the corner, fall down, found him wide open, and made a good throw.
So the Wolverines trail it by 20 now. And if the defense can stand.
Hey, good sit, ladies. Good sit.
A little bit of that second half magic, perhaps, that we saw a year ago against the Fighting Irish.
You never know. You never know. That's why Nick Saban told Heather Cox walking off at halftime, 60-minute game. Got to keep battling.
Jones and Milner are back deep for the tie. Wild booms it. They'll bring this one out of the 25. Here's an opportunity for that Wolverine defensive front. Greg Madison, got Black, Campbell, Rowe, all down. TJ Yeldon, the freshman, over 100 yards, trying to get to the outside, and he's to the 32-yard line before Taylor comes up for the stop.
This is where Greg Madison, I'm sure, is challenging his defense to just make a play. I mean, get a turnover, get him into third down and long. We've got to get the ball back to our offense in Denard.
So we've come to the end of the third quarter. Alabama leads, but Michigan trying to mount a rally. And this presentation of Saturday Night Football presented by Windows will return after this message and word from our ABC station. 8 Eastern Monday night. Here's Fowler. Will be on ESPN. Second down. Fowler bangs for the first down. Stays in bounds and makes his way to midfield.
Well, that was a good run there by Fowler, but the true freshman, TJ Yeldon, right now, 10 carries, 110 yards. We've seen a little bit of it all from him. Some balance, great vision, patience, some power. He running through 3 arm tackles here on this play alone. I think that, you know, Nick Saban got a little offended when he heard Heather Cox say committee of backs. I mean, what does that mean? You know, I got a bunch of great players. We all agree. Instead of seeing 2, we're seeing 3, maybe even 4 tonight.
And here's Hart.
Here's number 4 right here.
He checks in. We check in down below with Heather Cox.
Well, guys, I was just able to confirm with the officiating staff it was kick, catch, interference, meaning, like you said, Kirk, you must give the player the opportunity to catch the ball. You can't go by him or to the side of him. He has to be unimpeded. Now, they deemed that his ability to catch the ball was impeded by the kicking team. And what Brady Hoke was wondering is, does that protection follow his player as he goes forward? And the answer is, yes, it does. And that penalty is from the spot of the foul for the kicking team.
Yeah, it's still mistaken judgment in our opinion, Heather. He was already alongside him. Christian Jones actually moved up on that punt. There's the completion and underneath, and that's Johnson, one of the H-backs, making his first appearance. And Bama on the move again. The Ducks.
I think they got a little old school going tonight.
Here's Fowler banging, crushing that defensive line, bringing the seconds off the clock.
Teams that are going to have to defend Alabama because of how deep they are. I mean, the offensive line's physical. They've got 4 different running backs. They've got 3 different H-backs. They say it's their best group, top to bottom wide receivers they maybe have ever had in the Nick Saban era. You're going to face a lot of depth, and they're going to try to wear you down mentally and physically into this second half. That was another example of how they're wearing Michigan down.
When's that Arkansas game that you mentioned?
2 weeks.
That is going to be a major test.
We're going to find out where we are.
That's a big-time passing attack.
It is.
Okay. Tyler Wilson, and that'll be a bigger challenge for Saban's secondary than what they face tonight against a running and throwing quarterback in Denard Robinson. And Fowler, what a hammer, bringing him against a tired defensive line now and just running it down. Let's check in on this, Herbie. Yeldon for 110 yards. Lacey had 35 yards, and now Fowler with 56 yards. They have rushed for 221 yards here, and Fowler just updated to 62.
They could actually use a large percentage in this game, their run game, on a clinic on how to block up front. You know, we see all these spread teams in college football, and a lot of times offensive linemen are running sideways. It's more of a finesse game. You want to see an offense that's a throwback to a Bo Schembechler style of offense, where they just get you and they push you backwards. That's what Alabama does.
Fowler. Saban just very content now to hammer away at the clock. Brink making the stop for the Wolverines. Look, Herbie, the one point we need to make about Michigan. And first, let me congratulate both these schools for playing this game, especially the Wolverines. It's a step up to take on an Alabama down in Texas. Your first game, you're just trying to get a new coach to get the program put back together. Saban always plays at least one tough opponent. Virginia Tech next year is his opener. But congratulations to both these teams. Well, let's talk about what this means to the Wolverines down the road, not just here as we watch this play unfold. Goes to the end zone. Incomplete. And his penalty, that was the freshman, Amari Cooper.
Let me tell you why. I'll answer your question, Brent, shortly. But J.T. Floyd, remember we showed D. Milner, the corner from Alabama, turn his head?
Pass interference. Defense. Number 8. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
J.T. Floyd this time doesn't turn his head to find the football. And when you make contact and you don't have your head turned to locate the football, you're going to be called for defensive pass interference. And that's exactly what they did. He's got to be in better position to find the football, and then he has a chance to go up, and then he can fight for the ball and get physical as much as he wants. But with his head not turned around, that's pass interference every time.
Here comes Fowler. Battling toward the end zone. Just short of it.
Time they went with a tackle over to the left side, so you would think, wow, they're going jumbo to the left, they're going to run the big guy to the left side. Actually, they just used that as a decoy and came back to the right side, trying to catch this Michigan defense out of position and still find Fowler some room to run off to the right. And he's going to run through a lot of those tackles. But again, nice little wrinkle there from Doug Nussmeier with that play call. But I agree with you about Michigan. They are in the early stages of building this program back up with some good recruiting classes. This would have been a much better game 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeldon for his first touchdown. T.J. Yeldon. Daphne, Alabama with a 100-yard game, and now his first Bama touchdown.
The young man comes in for a chance to get that first touchdown, and the Michigan defense is just ready to tap out. You know, they are worn down. They've tried to rotate bodies. But they've been out there playing quite a bit, and Bama has run that football, especially in the second half, pretty much at will.
Shelley tacks on the extra point. Bama rolling back to Tuscaloosa with their first win of the season. They'll close it out in the next 5.5 minutes.
Last resort?
Yeah.
I might be all over that.
That one might be pretty good.
That one might be good.
There's our man Norfleet. He's been a busy freshman looking for that seam. He's going to get one. Write this down, Wolverine fans. Before the Big Ten season's over, he's going to take one to the house. So Bellamy is in at quarterback. Here's the young man from Arlington, Texas. High juggle, diving interception. His first pass is picked off by one of the Alabama reserves. And I believe that was Dylan Lee who did it, Herbie?
Yeah. They're emptying the bench over there on the Alabama side, but Lee gets in here. They got a lot of young people, and the poor Bellamy. The ball goes off to Smith. And that's a pretty good effort by Lee not to give up on that play. And that kind of sums up the whole night for Michigan and Denard Robinson. Poor Bellamy. He's from Arlington. He's all excited. Family and friends are here. His first throw off the hands of Smith. There's the SEC chant.
You knew that was coming.
I thought we might hear that one in the first half.
I did too. On the first play of the game.
Yeah. When in doubt, they keep that one in their hip pocket.
Yeah, they did.
They don't bluff on that.
Great football team. Wow. Now on ESPN, of course, Arkansas State. You get to check out those unis. Robert Flores said the Ducks. And ESPNU, Arizona. Rich Rodriguez first game against Toledo out in the desert. He's got a quarterback. He's got a quarterback apparently could run. Is that
Matt
right?
Scott? Yep. Nice player. Redshirted him last year. Gave him that extra year while Nick Foles was playing. See if he can get off to a better start than Washington State and Mike Leach. That was a tough one.
Well, Ely hands the ball off, and they have emptied the bench. Kenyon Drake is that. He applauds. Good job as he turns around.
There's the clap. Nice job. Heather's going to get a couple of chuckles out of Coach Saban, maybe.
41-14. There he is. Brady and Nick, good friends. AJ McCarron. Heather Cox is on the pursuit. 41-14. Bama wins its opener.
Yeah, how about the performance by the freshman?
Yeldon with 111 yards and a touchdown. Let's go down to Heather with the winning quarterback.
Thanks so much, Brent. AJ, congratulations on the win. What message are you trying to send to the college football world with this win tonight?
I personally don't think we're trying to send any type of message, really. We're trying to do what Coach always preaches. Let's just go out, play our game, take care of what we're supposed to take care of every play of the game, and at the end, everything will fall in place.
You talk about what your coach preaches. He had a meeting with your team days after you won the national championship. Talk to you guys about avoiding complacency. How much did that meeting help you guys tonight and that message?
Well, it helps a lot. I mean, anytime Coach Saban speaks, everybody's, all ears. And Coach Saban, he definitely let us know that this team hasn't done anything yet. And we got to come out and try to, find our identity as a team. And I think we did part of that tonight, but we got to keep building on it. We got things to work on and come back next week and be better.
And you guys put up 41 points on the board with a new offensive coordinator and a great offensive line. You talk about taking that line to dinner. What kind of treat are you going to give them tonight after this performance?
Well, they're going to get the plane meal going back home, but I'm sure next week I'll take them out to dinner like always.
All right, enjoy, AJ. Congratulations.
AJ McCarron came to work tonight dressed. How about that bow tie?
When you win a national championship, that's how you roll into the next game.
I thought there was a rock and roll concert here. Your final thoughts on this win,
just a great performance by Alabama. They did what they had to do to be able to have a very impressive win for Michigan. They've got to go back to the drawing board, and they can't sit here and worry about what happened tonight. They got to move forward, get ready for Air Force.
Bama rolling again. Now we take you to the studio for the Ford wrap-up, and here's Robert Flores. Robert?